Did Adam Silver break the NBA? That's the question that we're all wondering. So, to be honest, a lot of things that fans dislike by the league may be a symptom of Adam Silver's leadership. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad commissioner by any means. The things that he has brought to the NBA definitely have done more good than harm. But after this All-Star weekend, I noticed some things that need to be fixed. And I want to talk about a few of those things. And there will be a little bit more about All-Star Weekend as well, so please stay tuned. One, obviously the elephant in the room is All-Star Weekend. It hasn't been what it used to be in years, and fans have been wishing and hoping for the days we get to experience a little bit of nostalgia when it comes to All-Star Weekend. I don't know about you, but just in general, most find All-Star Weekend boring now, especially the All-Star game and the dunk contest, minus this one. Shout out to Mac McClung, he did his thing. This one was obviously a bit more entertaining than the ones of past, but when I see All-Star Weekend now, I just see a lack of effort and enthusiasm for the players. Take this year's All-Star game, for example. It was boring the entire way through, and even Jaylen Brown had this to say about the game this year.
It's like, this was like a layup line. Like, I don't know how much notoriety or he would want to get from this. It was just a glorified layup line, but you know, we got to figure out how to make maybe the game a little bit more competitive. But if the fans like it, that's all that matters.
And he's not the only one who has voiced some frustration. Denver Nuggets head coach Michael Malone, I think that's his name, said this was the worst basketball game ever played. I did a live stream with my cousin, Franchise Sports TV, and while we did watch the game, there wasn't much to talk about. Sure, Jason Tatum scoring 55 points was cool, but it was drastically less impressive due to the lack of defense being played by both sides. It was literally an open layup line and a dunk line. Also, I feel terrible for the first-time All-Stars. This being their first time getting to play this game and it being such a watered-down version of what they expected it to be. Also, I felt like the player rotations were terrible. We barely got to see everybody play, especially the young guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, all of those guys. So why do I think this is happening? To put it plain and simple, I don't think the players are excited about All-Star Weekend for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, it's the same format year after year, and there's no emphasis put on challenging one another in one of the world's greatest pickup games, so it's kind of like, why try? I think this can be fixed by changing the format up every few years, maybe switching up. Maybe we don't need a dunk contest every year. Maybe you swap between team captains and doing a draft of East versus West, or the US All-Stars versus the International All-Stars. The basketball has gotten big worldwide, and as we know, most of the best players in the NBA are international now, so I think that would be something that we can play with as well. I think that would be something that would be interesting as well. Or maybe we can even think about adding a one-on-one tournament. I think fans have been wanting to see that for years, especially since one of the most exciting parts about this year game was unfortunately one of the pictures that looked the worst, but it was when Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were going at it. Maybe that way players get a bit more excited about these things and it creates a better experience for the fans, because let's be honest, the fans are what makes the NBA. And although the All-Star Weekend had more views than it ever has on this occasion, it still felt like one of the most underwhelming experiences. Like, who put Julius Randle in the three-point contest? I'm not sure. And can we get the NBA's biggest stars to actually participate in the dunk contest? I don't know about you, but I would like to see a dunk contest with John Morant, Zion Williamson, Shaedon Sharpe, and Anthony Edwards. I think it would be one of the best we've ever seen. Most people like to blame LeBron for never doing an NBA dunk contest, but then again, if these guys are supposed to be the best players in the world, then why do they not want to compete? Even the first half of the regular season can be a bit boring, where most guys just kind of look like they're going through the motion, and people not playing, of course, due to load management, which brings me to my next point. A lot of NBA fans are starting to see NBA players as prima donnas. Under Adam Silver, we have been able to see player empowerment at an all-time high, which is a good thing, but there's always consequences to these things, whether they're good or bad. For example, the last few years, we saw players force their way out of teams by refusing not to play and showing up to training camp or games, most recently that being James Harden and Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons missed an entire season and a half. James Harden refused to show up to training camp, and when he did show up for preseason, he was out of shape. We've also seen guys request trades in the beginning of new contracts they haven't even completed halfway through yet, like Kevin Durant. And then, of course, load management is a whole other conversation in itself, whether it's players deciding to sit out or the medical staff telling players to sit out. Many fans are not necessarily happy about that either, because they are spending their hard-earned money to come watch these guys play, and when they get to the game just to find them not playing, it's pretty sad. So I have to ask all of you guys a question. Is too much player empowerment a bad thing? Has it affected other areas of the game like All-Star Weekend? To be honest, I'm not really sure, and I don't really have a solution for it either, but I do feel like it's a question that needs to be asked. Has the NBA developed a culture where there's not a good balance between player empowerment and appreciation for the NBA's fan base? I think the owners and Adam Silver have a lot to talk about, and one of the biggest questions they will need to answer is, how do we make the game and all the aspects of the NBA as exciting as we can for the fans and important to our current players as it was to the players of the past? How do we make our stars compete on every level and give the fans what they want, but also ensure owners are getting the services that they're paying these guys for? Again, I'm not too sure on the answer, but I do know the next collective bargaining agreement in those meetings with the player association and the owners will be very interesting. But anyway, guys, this has been another episode with No Time to Explain. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments, what do you guys feel about this conversation? Until next time.